All right, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are going on a totally fascinating deep dive into the grueling yet absolutely rewarding process of high-end visual effects creation. If you've ever sat in a theater watching a Hollywood blockbuster and wondered, how on earth did they build that? Well, you're in the right place. We are going to unpack the messy, real-world reality of the VFX workflow together. We're looking straight at the massive simulations, the brutal software crashes, and the incredibly ingenious workarounds these artists use to survive it all. Okay, let's dive into this. Achieving those huge Hollywood-level effects, like, say, a massive heroic sacrifice explosion in a movie like Kong Skull Island, isn't just about pressing some magic make-it-look-cool button on a keyboard. Not even close. As the industry saying goes, creating all this from scratch is a very tedious process that requires weeks of simulation work. It's a process built on immense, grueling human effort before you ever get to that final shiny product. So here is our roadmap for today's problem solution masterclass. 1. The Hollywood VFX Challenge. 2. Anatomy of a CGI explosion. 3. Surviving VFX technical challenges. And 4. The power of custom assets. Let's get to it. Section 1. The Hollywood VFX Challenge. Imagine the sheer ambition of this goal for a second. Recreating a complex, multi-layered explosion, or maybe a giant skull crawler stepping into a rushing river for a massive film, entirely from scratch. Pulling off these cinematic moments requires this insane balancing act. You are meticulously layering complex 3D animations with massive physical simulations and tracking it all perfectly into real-world camera footage. It is literally a highly technical digital symphony, and pulling it off is no joke. Section 2. Anatomy of a CGI explosion. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it breaks down the boom. An explosion isn't just one big element. It is actually a composite of countless micro-layers working together. First, in step 1, artists create the base particles exploding outwards, strictly defining their speed, size, and direction. Then, step 2, they feed those particles into a simulation network. But they don't stop there. Step 3 involves layering in entirely separate simulations for rocks flying and dirt kicking up. And finally, step 4, they add intricate smoke trails to give it that crucial final layer of chaotic complexity. Let's rewind to that second step for a moment. What exactly is an explosion simulation network? Think of it as a highly complex CGI system. Raw particles are fed in, allowing the artist to tweak real-world physics parameters. This is the exact place where you adjust the precise amount of smoke, the core temperature of the fire, the rate of expansion, and how digital wind forces actually interact with the flames. This network is the secret sauce that takes basic shapes and transforms them into the hyper-realistic visuals we expect to see. Section 3. Surviving VFX Technical Challenges. The ultimate man versus machine showdown. 100. I really just want you to let that number sink in for a second. In the source workflow we are examining, 100 hours is exactly how long it took for a single computer to render just one heavy, complex explosion simulation. 100 hours. That is over 4 days of a machine running at absolute maximum capacity, just to calculate the physics and lighting of a few seconds of footage. No way around it, that is brutal. And hey, if you thought 100 hours was wild, check out this massive number, 94 million. This represents the polygon count of a fast-moving simulated water mesh, specifically designed for a giant creature stomping into a river. Fast-moving water is famously difficult to simulate, and a 94 million polygon mesh is so incredibly dense, so heavy, that it completely crashed the artist's computer right in the middle of the render process. Boom, everything stops. It's honestly kind of hilarious when you think about it. When a state-of-the-art computer crashes from a 94 million polygon mesh, what's the highly technical, advanced industry solution? You just reduce the render quality a tiny bit so the machine doesn't literally melt. It just perfectly illustrates this constant, exhausting battle between an artist's grand creative vision and their stark, unforgiving hardware limitations. Surviving these challenges on a daily basis requires incredible resourcefulness. The problem-solving tips here go way beyond just knowing your way around the software. Yes, you reduce render quality to prevent crashes, but you also swallow your pride and watch online tutorials to figure out why your digital ragdoll physics keep breaking. You learn workflow shortcuts, like setting up a default test simulation node and simply swapping in your custom 3D model. And honestly, perhaps most importantly, you learn when to stop simulating entirely and instead just capture real-world elements to save your computer's life. But you know, even when you capture real-world elements, Human error is always right there waiting in the wings. In our source, the creator spent 2 full days organizing and isolating beautiful practical fire assets made using bioethanol fuel on plywood. But a simple mistake, literally just forgetting to check the box to export the transparency channel, rendered all that work temporarily useless. It cost an entire extra day just to fix the error. Ouch. It's a painful anecdote for sure, but it perfectly shows why absolute workflow efficiency and attention to detail are critical. But sometimes all this frustration leads to a brilliant aha moment. The real world has real water that computes in real time. When faced with those computer-crashing 94 million polygon water simulations we talked about, the creator realized something incredibly simple. If you just take your family out to a lake at night, set up some practical lights, and throw heavy rocks into the water, you capture perfectly realistic splashes instantly. No simulation networks, no 100-hour renders. It's an absolute genius bypass of the hardware limitations.
Let's move to and see how this builds. Section 4. The power of custom assets.
Because look, once you capture real-world splashes or render out a 100-hour explosion, you absolutely never want to do it again. The old paradigm involves weeks of heavy simulation work, terrifying 100-hour renders, and constant soul-crushing computer crashes. But the new way, it changes the whole game. By building a library of pre-made, high-quality stock assets, your workflow becomes an elegant drag-and-drop process right in your compositing software. You get instant, high-quality results without punishing your hardware. It's a real game changer. And this brilliantly illustrates how a true custom asset arsenal seamlessly blends practical and digital techniques. For real water, you throw rocks in a lake, boom, it computes in real time. For real fire, you burn bioethanol on plywood to capture authentic, organic movement. For CGI explosions, you use those hard-earned pre-rendered simulations, which gives you the flexibility of multiple lighting passes. And for weather, you literally just run outside with a camera during a snowstorm for instant drag-and-drop assets later. Now, I really want to highlight that specific advantage of the CGI assets. Why are pre-rendered simulations such a superpower for compositing? Well, because a single painfully rendered explosion can be exported with multiple lighting passes. So whether your news scene is overcast, features harsh direct side lighting, or is heavily backlit, having these passes means an artist can match that explosion perfectly to any environment without ever having to run this simulation again. It is pure, unadulterated workflow efficiency. So, wrapping that up, setting up a custom asset workflow has massive, undeniable benefits. It saves weeks, literally weeks, of simulation time per project. It preserves your computing power and completely avoids those 94 million polygon crashes. Interestingly, our source even notes the business-savvy side of this whole thing. When you organize these assets into a storefront using a short descriptive domain name like .store actually doubles the click-through rates. Ultimately, having this custom library allows artists to stop fighting their computers and start focusing on the actual art of compositing and storytelling. All right, we gotta address the elephant in the room: artificial intelligence. Our source tested generating these VFX shots using AI tools. The neutral takeaway here: while AI can certainly generate visuals really quickly, the results often lack specific, detailed control. When trying to match a very specific vision, the AI struggled with complex anatomical details, like, giving a creature the correct number of legs, and it couldn't quite nail authentic emotional details, like genuine tears. Compared to the handcrafted art, the AI versions were described as feeling, well, a bit soulless. Which brings us to this incredibly poignant quote: "If perfection was a click away, we'd all get sick of it in no time." I think this perfectly captures why the frustrating, crash-filled process of creating VFX from absolutely nothing is actually what makes it so rewarding. The struggles, the late nights, the constant problem-solving, that human effort is exactly what injects soul into the final image. So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought to ponder as we wrap up today's explainer. Is the true value of visual effects found in that final, flawless pixel on the screen, or is it found in the very human struggle required to create something out of absolutely nothing? It's a pretty fascinating intersection of art, technology, and human endurance, isn't it? Thank you so much for exploring the VFX workflow with me, and hey, always keep questioning how the media you love is actually made.